Well, hello. I am here again with another amazing guest. Can you tell we're excited for the summit? This is a different conversation. If you've ever said, God is my CEO, and you guys have heard me say it often, but if you've ever said, God is my CEO, but you're not quite sure what that actually looks like in your day-to-day life and in your business, this conversation is just for you. I'm here with one of our beautiful speakers for the Spirit Led Success Summit, aligned, not exhausted, Ivy. And we're going to unpack what it really looks like to build your business with God, not just for Him. Ivy has such an incredible heart. You can feel it for helping women step into exactly who God created them to be, not just in one area of life, but in every role they carry. So, Ivy, thank you so much for joining me, not just for the summit, but for this quick talk about the summit.
Thanks, Nikki. I'm so humbled, firstly, to be here and as well to be one of the speakers for the summit. Absolutely looking forward to the summit, and I cannot wait to see what God does. And 100%, like I've heard you saying it, I've heard so many women saying it before. God is my CEO, but just the practicalities of that is what I want us to, dive into on Wednesday, the 22nd, when I'm speaking at the summit. And again, it's, addressing obedience, addressing what does it mean for God to be my CEO? I know it from my own walk, when I started God's Whole Woman and in my own journey now, having that tension between wanting to make the decisions and at the same time like David, knowing what it means to inquire of the Lord about your strategy, knowing how to go back to the Lord continuously. There's that tension because the world will tell you, you got to go, 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 go. And yet the word tells you, be still and know that I am God. So we're going to be diving into things like that. How do I, release that tension? How do I forward my company, but at the same time, I'm not doing what the world expects, but doing what God expects.
And it's
So,
so true. We get so caught up in this hustle culture. Yes, there are actions we have to take, but God doesn't call, I always say, God didn't give us a purpose so we can burn out fulfilling it. And I love how you bring so much forward in women. But this summit is called Align, Not Exhausted. And what is it about that in particular that resonated with you?
oh, so much. I think because in my own journey, I've had to learn how to not become burnt out, but how to, remain aligned with God. And, something that I've heard a lot of women saying as well is, it's so busy. I just don't have time for God. It's so busy. I haven't read my Bible today. It's so busy. I can't spend 2 hours in prayer. And yet, when we focus on God, when we put Him first, that is how we remain aligned.
Yes.
The, to avoid burnout, actually, one of the solutions is to always run back to our Father. And so I love the fact that the summit is all about one, spirit led. Two, you want to be aligned with the Father and not burnt out. So that really drew me to the summit. Just the messaging, it is so timely. It is so timely. Like God is doing such a powerful work with women and
Yes.
everyone in general, but like I see Him moving with women, calling us out of that space where we're trying to do everything and getting burnt out into a place where we just sit still with Him. It's a timely and beautiful summit.
I, you know, I really do believe that God is leading this summit. And I believe that every speaker has been handpicked and chosen to be here and anointed, all for different purposes in the summit. And there are so many that get to hear, not just from you, but from our 30 odd other
Everyone.
speakers as well.
Yeah.
There is so much here. I heard an incredible statement the other day, and I hope I'm going to get it right. And I don't remember where I heard it. So I can't do the quote thing. But it said, We all have strategies. Prayer isn't the strategy. Prayer is the purification process
Oh,
for the strategy.
I love
And that
that.
hit me so hard because we can work for hours on the strategy and get burnt out because we've got nothing refueling us. No joy. So we get to we get to just stop. And I love that your talk is titled Soaring in Christ from Overwhelmed to Empowered. And that shift, what does that really look like for you? You've told us how. What does that look like?
You know, oh, for like there was a time where I was so overwhelmed, and it was that case of you're trying to do everything in your own strength. You're trying to, God has given you this vision, but because you haven't gone back to say, God, how do I actually go about this vision? You end up being overwhelmed. And what I love with God is, especially in the first days when you've surrendered to Him and He's beginning to show you your purpose. God is a God of abundance. So a lot of the times what He begins to show you is so many things that you can do. He begins to say, Nikki, you actually are an author, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mother, you're this. So he almost wants to show you, all the things that you can do. And it's so easy to become overwhelmed because if you don't go back to God, it's like, okay, I have to do this in one season. I have to build I have to have a baby. I have to build a business. I have to write the book. But actually, God is showing all of that. And He's saying, but come to me so I can empower you. Come to me so I can say to you, in this season, this is what you're going to do. In this season, this is what you're going to focus on. And God is so intentional. Like I've seen it even in my own walk. I have to go back to say to Him, okay, God, we're going into quarter two. What is the focus for quarter two? I'm going into quarter three, God. What is the focus? Yes, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, but how do I balance it all? What am I, is there maybe something that I need to just, maybe take my foot off the pedal for a little bit? And, it's that from being overwhelmed by trying to do everything in your own strength to being empowered by God, to being, empowered to just be you. That joy when it's just like I'm walking in what God is saying I must walk in. And it's so beautiful when, again, when you bring that alignment with God and that stress just falls away. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
brings clarity, it brings joy, it brings peace, it brings, yeah.
Well, folks, you can hear it's not just our accent that we have in common. We have this passionate heart to see people align, to see people grow. And, I was at the CXO conference in Las Vegas last week, and this was part of the discussion, was breaking free from hustle culture. And the panel I was on, one of the questions was, as an entrepreneur, what do you feel when your business slows down? Because we tend to push, push, push. When your business slows down, it doesn't mean it's failing. If you keep pushing and you never slow down to revise your strategy, to
Hmm.
revise your alignment, you're going to push straight into one big mess.
Exactly.
So what you say is, you're so right. And if you've been overwhelmed, ladies, this is a talk you want to hear. And in fact, if you've been overwhelmed, men, this is a talk you want to hear. And
Yeah.
I really want, this is so real and so relevant today. So if you have a friend who you may want to come or you think this would be beneficial for, don't forget to send them this message or tag them right below here, because we've got a link below. It's Ivy's link for you to sign up for the summit, and registration is free. And a lot of people go, oh, you're talking about being aligned and not being overwhelmed. How can I spend 2 days on a summit? Well, don't. Take a deep breath, regulate, and decide. But be there for Ivy's talk. You
Yes.
know, she is speaking on Tuesday, the 22nd, and her talk time, I believe, is at 3:30 Central Standard Time. And if you've got a clash Or if you want to listen to all the talks, there is a very low cost VIP option, which gives you lifetime access. You don't have to do it, but it makes it easier for you to do in your own time, and that'll come up. But the basic registration is free. You don't want to miss this. And I just, Ivy, one more question for you.
Sure.
And that is, why is this message? I know you've been through it, but why is this message so personal to you? Why is it so important that you see other people hear this message?
Because I think one of the limiting beliefs that I had, and a lot of women have, and a lot of men even have, is that if they surrender control to God, that it will limit them. But I now know, even from my personal experience, that actually surrender is the key. So if you want joy, if you want peace, if you want riches, if you want prosperity, literally surrender is the key. And so I am so like I love the fact that God has found me worthy to talk about obedience and surrender in this season. Because I really believe once you do that and you learn the ropes and you just get to a point when you cling to God and say, no matter the word, I will do it. You will see so many doors open. You will see grace like you've never seen grace before. And you will begin to know God like you've never known Him before. But it starts with a choice because God is a gentleman. He will never force Himself. And I believe, like in this season, we keep talking about obedience and surrender because God is saying, let me in. God is saying, I'm here, but you need to make the choice. And so, for
Yeah,
anyone that's coming, I would urge them to have an open heart, be ready to receive from God, and be willing to give Him the space in their lives that they need to give Him.
absolutely. And it doesn't matter whether you're just starting your entrepreneurial journey, so you haven't hit the overwhelm yet, or if you're right at the top and you've got it all together. We all still get to make those choices. We are all still building and growing in these areas, in obedience, in surrender. And when we hear words like obedience and surrender, we tend to feel a bit guilty. This is not about condemnation. This is about
No.
revelation. So I invite you, if you've been overwhelmed or you know someone who's overwhelmed, come and join us. It is going to be an amazing event. And I'm going to ask you to be praying over the event, over every speaker and every attendee, that they would receive what God has for them, including you, even if it's just from this live. Ivy, any last words for those watching?
Come to the summit. It's free. Plus, you'll see I've got a wonderful free gift for you. Even if you are not VIP, both free and VIP attendees have a gift from me. I cannot wait for you to get your hands on it. But over and above that, like Nikki said, don't come alone. Don't be blessed alone. Make sure to, send this to a fellow sister, fellow brother. Come in your masses and let your life be transformed.
Absolutely. And I think you can tell if you've watched this live and if you've seen any of the other lives for the summit, there are such a vast array of topics because God's kingdom is a mosaic. It's like a stained glass window, and there's something for everyone. So I hope to see you all there. If you've got any questions, feel free to message either of us. But in the meantime, have a joy-filled, blessed day. Ivy, thank you so much, my friend. Blessings
Thanks so
all.
much, Nikki.
Bye.